Great.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so let's go. So this training will be about like 45 minutes or so, more or less, about 45 minutes. And I guess you have already been informed about the content of our training today. From this April, we'll be applying two new tools, which is the mini test, and the second one is the new evaluation form. So they are pretty new. So I will introduce them to you so that you can apply them effectively while you are working at ESO. So first off, with the mini test, of course, you have already known that for every 10 lessons, you need to give the student a mini test, which lasts for about 10 minutes to test whether he or she has like remember the knowledge of the 9 previous lessons. And before this training, I know some of you had to come up with your own materials, right? So it can be quite challenging and not like similar in difficulties and similar in level. And so we try to support you by providing the already prepared mini tests. And you can access those mini tests in your teaching schedule. So I hope this looks familiar because this is the one that we show you while the orientation training. So from now on, we'll be attached the mini test to the book as well. So for example, in the link here, besides the book, you can also access the mini test here. So for example, for this one, the mindset for IELTS, when you click on this folder will appear. And as you can see here, this is the book that you need to be teaching to the students. And you need to send this book to the students as well. You have already known it, right? But besides the book, there is one other folder in this one. This is the mini test. And when you click on the mini test, there will be the test for this book, specific book for you.
Perfect.
Right.
So it will fit for each age group.
Right.
So each age, no, that's perfect. That's great.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the questions, please?
No questions.
It's a compliment.
Yes.
Actually, for the mindset IELTS, for this book particularly, we have divided the books into different lessons, and for every 10 lessons, you will use this mini test folder to give the student a mini test. So that is equal in difficulty and is equal in similarity.
I have a question.
Yes.
With the IELTS mini test, is it broken up into different groups? Or is it just speaking, just reading, or just listening?
It's actually broken into different groups, different skills.
Perfect.
Right.
Perfect. Now with a 10-minute evaluation, with a 10-minute mini test that we usually cover after the 10 lessons, I usually do a little bit of listening, a little bit of reading, and a little bit of speaking with my own material. That's what I have been doing. Sometimes it runs more than 10 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah, same here.
10 minutes is very little with an IELTS student.
I know.
So can I use this material? And if it doesn't have listening audio, can I use my own?
Well, actually, when we give you the mini test, if there is a listening exercise, we'll give you audio as well. So don't worry. Everything is provided. So you just need to like remember that every 10 lessons, you have to give a mini test to the student.
Just apply. Yeah.
Yes, everything has been prepared. Okay. But remember that you have to know every 10 lessons is a must to give the student a mini test to test whether he or she has been, listening to you and remembering what you have said over the last 9 lessons. And in the checking right now, you will see we have already like do this for you, like for example here.
Yes, but sometimes a student needs a little bit of a reminder of what he has learned before the 10 lessons. That's the time when I usually conduct a comprehension test or a speaking evaluation. Is that okay?
Yes, totally fine. Actually, because like it's up to you. Actually, we allow
Yeah.
a lot of flexibility for you to like
Mm.
adapt into your class and for you to adapt into your way of teaching. It's actually depends
Yes.
on you because like you are the one working with the student and you know like
Yes.
whether
Yeah.
he or she needs the test right away. But it's like a systematic thing. Every 10 lesson, you have to give the student a mini test. If you feel that the student needs some other test as well, it's up to you,
Yes.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Great.
But in your teaching schedule, we already marked the date
Mm-hmm.
on which
I
the
like
student will have the
that.
mini test.
Yeah. Mm.
Here, so for other dates, if there isn't the mini test line down below, that means the class happens as usual. And it's up to you to provide the lesson, provide the content for the class. Right, so it's about the mini test. And when you click on the photo here, if you see the mini test, that means the mini test for that book has already been provided. But in contrast, if you see a photo without the mini tests, that means sometimes you
Create
still
your
have to
own.
come up with, yes, you still have to create one for your student to use,
Okay.
right? At the moment, we have done a lot of mini tests for some books already, and so we try to give you a lot of materials so to save time. But if you are given a book without the mini test photo, that means you still have to come up with the test on your own.
I understand.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's it about the mini test. So one more time, it will be attached in the book column as well, along with the book.
Meeting.
Great. So that's it for the mini test. And now we're moving on to the more important part, the evaluation. This is what the new evaluation looks like. So some of you already know that the old version is quite data heavy. It has a lot of information and it requires you to fill in a lot of data. And so we understand that difficulties. And in this version, we try to make the form more appealing, more beautiful, to encourage you guys to support you. And for the first part, there are some information that you need to fill in. So as you already see here, the teacher's text mean you need to fill in that information.
The book.
Yes.
No, the level of the student.
The level of the student, teachers,
Okay.
your name, and the name of the book you are using. So those kind of information you need to fill in yourself. So let me demonstrate that by showing the already finished version.
Look at the cute photo.
Wow, that's cute.
That student is adorable.
And from now on, what is new is that we attached the student's photo here as well, so that like you can.
Wow, that's nice.
So that you can find it easier to visualize who is who, because sometimes you have a lot of students and it is hard for you to remember their names. But if you see their picture, it's easier for you to recall who is who, and you can know like what comments or what his or her strengths or what his or her weaknesses are. Right. So this the complete version. This what the new evaluation will look like. And another important update is that from now on, all you need to do is fill in the form online. Before this, you need to download the form into the computer, fill in the form, and then upload it back online, which is quite time consuming. But from now on, you guys can use it directly online without having to download, without having to upload it again. So it saves a lot of time. So that's the main part. Down below are the criterion, are all the assessment on the criteria that the students will be graded on. The first part is the attitude, his attitude towards the class, towards learning. And the second part is, of course, his English abilities. There are two main criteria that the students will be graded on. And I will talk more deeply about each criteria right now. For the attitude and for the English skills as well, he or she will mark beyond the scale of 100, with 100 being the maximum, the highest point a student can get. There are two sub-criteria here, attitude towards class and attitude while in class. Attitude toward class means what he or she has done to prepare for the class. Like for example, he or she is online on time for the class. That's also a kind of like preparation because he needs to arrange his own personal schedules to go online on time. And for example, he also needs to prepare like a suitable learning environment, like a quiet one, so that it doesn't disturb you guys while you guys are learning and teaching. So those preparations are also counted towards his attitude towards class. It is the same for the in-class lesson. While in class, if he or she like listen attentively to what you are saying, or he or she like turn on the camera, he or she asks questions, if he or she is confused, those really shows his attitude, his eagerness to learn, his willingness to learn. And so we really appreciate those kind of attitudes while learning. And soon you guys will start filling in this form on your own. And if you feel that the student is excellent, you can give something, some high points, like 90, for example. Or the class always carry out as schedule, for example, 95. Or maybe quiet environment, 100%, for example. This is quite subjective and it allows you to be flexible in your way of giving scores to the student. It is the same for the down below. But actually, attitude is also a very important thing that you need to keep in mind, which is whenever you have problems with a student regarding his attitude, you need to inform us right away. For example, like if he or she doesn't want to turn on his camera, no matter how many times you have said to turn on the camera, or he or she is just too energetic and he or she just want to move around without stay still or listening to you, you need to send us a message right away. You know who should you contact, right?
Yes, our AC.
Our AC member,
Yeah.
exactly. They are the one who will support you when you have problems. So please, if you have any problems with the student, send a message, and so we will try to support you as soon as possible.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks.
So that's it for the attitude. For the second part of the new evaluation, we will grade the students based on his or her skills. So you have already known that we basically deliver speaking classes, and
Yes.
we need to grade their speaking abilities based on 5 criteria: fluency, response, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. So those are the 5 criteria that you need to be using to grade the student, to give score to the student. And down below is the more detailed version of this system. And you can see here what we meant by fluency. Fluency means the student can be able to speak fluently, like you and I are using English right now. Or he or she needs to be able to give emotions to what he or she is speaking, using a lot of emotions in body language, or different types of connectors, like because, so, what I meant was, etc. So those kind of things are really important while you're speaking. And of course, he or she also needs to be active in asking questions if he or she is confused. So those not only shows his abilities, but also shows his attitude towards the class. And it is the same for response. It's also the same for response, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation. Down below is a more detailed version of what we mean by vocabulary or what we mean by pronunciation. And you can have a look at all of this at your own pace, at your own time later on.
Okay, thanks.
Right, so that's about the skills. One important thing is in this version, besides the table to give marks to score the student, will be attached the 2 charts, the 2 graphs here. This is quite new, and let me show you how to use this one. For example, in March, after you have given the students all on the marks, on the points, there will be, you need to update this one with the new points. You can do that by click on here, click on the chart here, choose this one and open the source page. And so something like this will appear. This will be the spreadsheet for you to fill in all the points that you have given to the student. Let me demonstrate by doing it one more time. Let me delete all of this. So without any data, the chart or the graph doesn't appear. And after you have filled in all the information in this table, you can copy it and paste it on this one. Here, for example, on this one. You copy and paste it here. And so the chart will appear.
Mhm.
This one is a little bit tricky. Do it one more time.
Right?
Yeah, me too.
So first,
I didn't actually notice the copy part.
so one more thing, one more time, please. So this is a table for you to give point, to score, to mark your students
Yes.
based on his or her English abilities. And there are 5 criteria here: fluency, response, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. And they are also marked on the scale of 1 to 100, with 100 being the maximum, the highest point. So for example, for this student, I give score like this: 50 for fluency, 70 for response, 80 for grammar. The same is below. And this for March, you are about to fill in the evaluation form for March pretty soon. And this is the point I give to an example student. And so not only do you have to fill in the table here, but you also need to update the charts or the graphs. This chart or graph is to visualize how your students have been progressing, how your students have been becoming better in his skills. And so how can you update it? What you can do is click on the chart here, click on this chart, open the source page, the source material, and it will lead you to this one. It will lead you to this one. And let me do that one more time to fill in all the information. So you can see here, we already have the 5 criteria for March, for April, for May, for June, July, August, etc. But without any number, there isn't any chart whatsoever. Right, and so you can fill in the data from this table here. This the table that you first give the student score your student on 5 criteria. You just need to copy and paste it on this table. And then there will be the 2 graphs and charts down below.
Okay. All right.
Is that clear?
Clear.
A little bit better.
So you're going to copy it from the first graph with the
Right.
numbers, and you go to this graph on the bottom, that one.
Yes.
And then you're going to paste it there on the table, and there it will show, right?
It's
Okay.
correct. So
Thank
first
you.
you need to fill in this table first, and then click on the graph down below, choose to open the source
Open
page.
source.
Yes,
Open
and then this
source.
one will appear. This one will appear, and then you need to copy paste the information in the first table onto this one.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then the chart and the graph will appear. That's it. But after you have done this, you need to go back to your evaluation form and update it. Update the new information. So this one update will appear. The update tools is appear. If you click on update, you can see all the new information here.
Okay.
So that's pretty much how you can update the new graph or chart. This is pretty new because you need to visualize, for the parents to visualize how their children are becoming
Progress.
better, or their children's progress. So up until this moment, do you have any questions regarding the scoring or regarding the updating the table or the chart or the graph?
I have one question.
Yes.
Will my AC also know how to fill out this form?
I'm sorry, your IC will what?
will she also know how to fill out the form?
Yes, we have already
So-
done the training for the AC members. And
Perfect.
so,
So if I
Oh,
have
yeah.
any questions, I can ask her.
yes.
Or maybe we can have a copy of the video after we are done so that we
Yes,
can
yes.
go back, right?
Right.
Okay, that's
I am recording
I
this
think I've got it.
lesson right now. And so after this, we done this training, we'll send you the video for you to rewatch what we are doing right now at home. And don't worry.
Okay, that's very great.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
That's great.
I
One
think
important
everyone.
The
Sorry,
mini
I think
test is so much easier.
We try to do so. We try to improve like your working process to make it easier, to reduce all on the time wasting procedures, etc.
The evaluation form is beautiful. I must say, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
much
will
better.
give that compliment to the designer of this form.
Wow.
Really beautiful.
And one important thing to note is that while you are giving score, please keep in mind that we need to see progress. We need to see
Yes.
the student's progress while he or she is doing at ESO, while he or she is learning at ESO. So keep in mind that don't give too high a score from the get-go.
Yes.
Just a quick reminder. For example, don't give something like he has perfect grammar, and then you give something like the maximum score
Yeah.
already. And then
Yes.
in the following months, it just cannot improve on that because he's already
Yes.
got like 100,
Yeah.
which is the maximum score already. And the parent cannot see any progress. It is the same for other criteria. But if you feel that the student is already excellent, but can still improve.
You can put it in the feedback. You can put it in the
Yeah.
response in the
Yes.
bottom.
But don't give too high a score or don't give the maximum score because like we need to
Yeah.
see progress over time. So it's better even if he's excellent in speaking and his grammar is also always correct and he uses perfect grammar, maybe something like 90. It's already perfect enough. And then in the following months, you can improve it to 95, maybe 99. And then later on, it can go up to 100 if the student keeps it up, if the student can
Yeah.
keep his performance up. But what important here is we need to see progress.
I think this is much more better than the other one before because you're going to
Yeah.
put V and it's hard to put a grade on that one. Sometimes I put grades as the same as what it is before. So from the last month. So yeah, I think this is much more better now.
Yes, I think like
And more
it is.
visible, right?
Yes.
I think it is sensible for us to keep like to be careful in the score we are giving to the student because sometimes not only is it important for the parents, but also it's important for the student. Like when you give the perfect score from the get-go, the student can be, like he may be too confident. He can become too confident
Yeah.
in his or her ability or his or her English ability, and he or she may, like lose motivation to improve his English skills.
Yeah, because they think they're perfect already.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it just
I have a
can
question.
happen. Yes. Okay.
I have another question. Sorry, Viet, that I'm taking most of the time here, but with the evaluation form, so we're going to run the evaluation form for 6 months per student.
Oh no,
After that, we get a new one, or
no.
how does it
Actually,
work?
this is just an example. It depends on how many lessons the student buy per course.
Yes.
It's not
Okay.
about 6 months, but like after this 6 months, we'll fill in the following months as well.
Okay.
If
So,
on the students.
for example, the student buys a course for March and April with a teacher.
Yes.
So I will complete evaluation for March, do my graph, then I will complete evaluation for April. Will I get the same evaluation form or will I
Yes.
get a new one?
It's the same evaluation form here, but you
Okay,
need to
so
fill in the new information.
All right, so
Mm.
then I will get the same evaluation form. I have to delete the numbers, put in new totals,
You don't have to
or
delete
no,
anything.
just the feedback, the response
Yeah.
at the bottom.
No, actually
Okay.
here you can see like we have different months. Every month
Yes.
you are required to fill in the evaluation. This evaluation is
Yes,
the same
I'm
form.
talking about the bottom section,
Oh,
section,
the
right at the
marks
bottom.
one.
right at the bottom where we give our
The
input,
comments.
the
we-
comment. Yes.
Comments.
We'll get to that later
Recommendation.
on. We'll get to that
okay.
later on. Okay, don't worry. Right now it's about the table here, but just a quick reminder that every month you guys are required to fill in this evaluation form. You don't have to delete any information whatsoever, but you have to fill in new numbers because each
Yes.
month the student is scored differently. You have to give different numbers to the student's performance in that month. So for example, you are about to fill in the March column here very quickly. And at the end of April, we will be given the April score for the student. This is just an example.
Yeah, it's better now because we can see what we have given them for last months, right?
Right.
So at the same time, we can see it. At the same time, we will be able to put the new one on each month for
Right,
how many
exactly.
months is it? 6 months. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
And is it the same as last, where evaluation forms are only completed for students that has attended more than 5 classes?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? You mean the attendance of the student, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, you guys are required to fill in all the evaluation for all students, actually.
Okay.
Even only with one
Oh.
lesson attended?
No, like if the lesson had all classes during per month, if the student just newly started the class, then there won't be any evaluation whatsoever. The evaluation is about the trial evaluation. If he or she just started out and he or she just done the demo class, we will be giving him the demo, the trial evaluation, not this monthly evaluation, because he or she
Okay.
hasn't started for a month. So there's no
Yeah.
evaluation for that student.
But I'm trying to express, like with a regular student, if the regular student only had 2 classes, started maybe late the month, and it's
Mhm.
it's evaluation time, do I do an evaluation for that student?
For those kind of situations, you need to contact our AC, and then the AC will
Okay.
give you more information regards to this student. Normally, if the
Alright.
student
Nice.
started out late, maybe he or she started at the end of the previous month, there may be no evaluation for
Evaluation.
that student because he or she has
Well,
only
I have-
attended 2 lessons only.
Well, I do have a suggestion for that one. If our AC could help us, how many class the student needs to take before we be able to put them on
It was
this
5.
evaluation. Oh, 5, right?
It was 5 with the
5.
older evaluation.
Yes,
5
for
or
the old
more.
process is 5.
Yeah.
So for
5 or
this
more,
one
you're right.
now, is what
We have
numbers
to.
that we
We'll have to
yeah.
ask our AC.
10.
Yes,
Right.
we will inform you guys about that information later on. But normally, like for the student, we try to put the number of the class he has been taken here, number of the classes here. So normally, if he or she has already taken like 5 classes, for example, if he or she buy a course of over, like this one, if he or she buy a course of 70 lessons, and he or she has already done the minimum of 5 lessons, then you can give his or her some evaluation.
Okay.
And I will get back to you about the minimum numbers later on, so don't worry. So that's about the filling in the table and upgrading the chart and the graph. Is everything clear, or do you have any other questions at the moment?
Yeah, that would be good.
Great. So please keep in mind, be mindful of the score that you are giving in the first month and in the upcoming months, because we need to see progress. Right. And down below is a comment section. And in this comment section, we try to, eliminate all the complexities, all the things that are too difficult, too time consuming. We only keep the 2 parts here, which are the improvement part. What has the student changed compared with the previous months, or compared with the latest month? And you need to give his or her, you need to give some, some compliments on his or her improvement. For example, he or she has been able to pay more attention to,
Or build more
to-
confidence in speaking.
yes, to the ending sound, for example. He or she has been paying more attention to the ending sound. This is the ending sound, the words. Or he or she ask more questions in class. So those really show his confidence his abilities in his English, those guys need to be complimented right away so that the parents can see that their teachers are becoming better. So this is case-to-case situation. This is just an example. And the second part is a recommendation. For this recommendation, you need to fill in like some weaknesses of that student while speaking, and some recommendation for methods to improve on those weaknesses. For example,
Well,
if,
that one, sir.
yes,
Daily
Well, that one.
reading, daily
Well, that
reading,
one I'm
maybe.
really having a trouble on
Yes.
filling up that one because, for example, I give a recommendation for this month that the student really needs to practice more in pronunciation, or
Right.
even how to, read properly with intonation. And how, if the student didn't have that progress or improvement for the next month. So I'm thinking about that there's something we
Yes.
can't put the same recommendation that we did for last month. So
Exactly.
how is it gonna work if the student didn't, follow the recommendation that we provided?
I
So
think we can
can
put
we
it
put
in writing there. I think we can put
yeah.
it in writing there. So you can say, because you're speaking directly to the parent reading it.
Mhm.
So you're going to say, dear ma'am, this and that we did not get a chance to work on due to this and that reason. And we will in the following weeks continue practicing with this and that. Simple. You're speaking directly to the parent. If it's a junior student, you're speaking directly to the parent. If it's an adult student, you speak directly to the adult. Simple as that.
Okay, so I'm about
Because
to
the
get to that point.
process.
Actually, I'm about to get to that point. Like the 2 consecutive months cannot repeat the same information, but
Of course not.
Yes.
it's not a 100% like a must. But like as you mentioned earlier, while you fill in the weakness or the recommendation, like for example, if the student have like problem, but you need to be specific though, like have problem with pronunciation. What specific problem with pronunciation? Because pronunciation is very large. It's like an umbrella term, and every student
Mhm.
has problems with pronunciation. And if you just fill in the pronunciation part, the student it can be very difficult for him or her to improve on that. You need to be specific on your comments so he or she can be more mindful while he or she is speaking. So for example, if you give something like have pronunciation with the S or the SH sound, this will
Yes.
be a specific requirement that the student can improve on later on. But if you give something only like have problems with pronunciation, he or she doesn't have anything to improve on from your comments. So you need to be specific while you are giving comment, especially regarding the weakness and recommendation. And so,
For example, Viet,
yes,
for example, if for that, maybe the student had 5 lessons with me for the month, and during the 5 lessons, there was absolutely no weakness. Can I put in there no weakness for this month? However, we will be focusing on this and this in the next month. Is it okay for me to write the recommendation like that?
well, normally it is very rare for you to have a student who has
With no
no
weakness.
weaknesses. It is
I know.
absolutely really rare. So I
Well,
don't
for
think that would
example,
happen. But for
right,
example, though,
sorry.
for example, if that ever happens, you can note down here, no witnesses observed until this moment, because you have only very limited amount of hour, limited number of classes with that student. So we can totally understand that. But normally
Okay.
that case is very rare and maybe never happen. But that's
Can
just
we put the word still under observation?
Damon, you're gonna make me laugh.
That's gonna be a short one. Under observation.
that can be very time saving.
Yes.
It will save a lot of time. Right, just quick reminder, when you give some recommendations or comments on witnesses, please be specific so that we know what to communicate with the parents. For example, he or she has problem with the ending sound, or he or she have problem with the S or sh sound, so that we can ask the parent to support his or her children to improve on. And for example, if he or she has a problem with this one, you need to give some recommendations on how to improve these. So can I ask teachers, I know you are already professionals. Can I ask, like, if your student have this problem, what kind of recommendation do you suggest him or her follow in the next month? Can I ask?
Well, we will do repetition with the student. We will do phonetic sounds that would improve speech. We will do lots of reading. We will do word building with that particular sound to improve pronunciation. We will do lots of listening and repetition of mouth movements.
Right.
That's basic what you would do, especially if it's a junior. But if it's an older student, you're going to use different methods. You're going to use tongue twisters to improve their pronunciation. Things that rhyme a lot for them.
Right.
She sells, she sells.
Đúng rồi.
She's
Yes.
sure.
Sally
Seashell.
sells.
Like
Seashell.
Seashore. That was more for advanced students already.
So it will differentiate with the not just the level of the student, but the age of the student a lot.
Sure.
Right. So true. So those are very beneficial experience that you guys can learn from. Like be more specific and think of ways to help the student improve. Because
Of course.
You already know about this, but the 2 consecutive months cannot have the same 100% the same information. Like for example, like it is cannot the same problem with the S or SH sound in the following month. Otherwise, maybe the parents can make them doubtful. He or she may question your effectiveness in teaching because you have the whole month. You have the whole month just to fix the sound of the S or the SH sound. I know it can be challenging to fix, but it can be difficult for the parents to accept it. So if he or she, if their children are still having problems with those kind of problems, with this ending sounds or these sounds, please keep in mind that you need to come up ways or need to come up with recommendation and need to follow up with this problem in the following months. Otherwise, this will be repeated in the following month's evaluation.
Well, really do have a problem on that part, but some students, not all. For example, if we are having a problem on these kinds of phonic sounds for students' pronunciation, so is there any possible way that we can focus on, practicing them on pronunciation? So, like, we're gonna stop for 2 classes in the book, and we're going to practice the phonic chants of the words. Because if we're going to put the book and then write in the phonic chant, this might be a little bit confusing for the student to learn at the same time. So is that going to be okay if, for example, that's going to be the main problem?
Ideally,
the pronunciation.
Damon, may I say something?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
So when you're in a situation like that, remember your class time is limited. Class time is only for learning. Weaknesses that you have noticed in class, you have tried to fix them. It did not work in that 30 minutes. What you do, it will take maybe 10 seconds of your time, is leave a voice message with the phonetic sound for the student. Maybe if the word is, just an example, red robot, you repeat the word red robot 3 times in the audio, not in the audio recording, but a voice message for the student. Leave it as homework. Next class,
Yes.
First thing you ask, red robot, let me hear.
Right.
Simple.
Exactly. Ideally, like
That's
as you
good.
mentioned, like the class is for learning, and it's not about repeating the same problems over and over
Yes.
again.
Yes.
But
Leave it
ideally-
as homework.
Yes, ideally, if you can incorporate the content of the new lesson with the problems that the students are having, that could be great. That could be totally encouraged. But if you cannot incorporate the 2 together, it's better to find other ways, like giving homework. Like, for example, ask the student to record themselves speaking these 2 sounds or pronounce these words. It's better for you to do that. And it can save a lot of time in class because he or she has to, learn new things as well. And
Children get excited when you ask them to make little videos. You will not believe all the videos I have of them.
so those are
They
the
get
things that you
excited.
can use, that you can learn from other teachers. And Thank you very much, Miss HP. How can I say your name, please?
Rihanna. Rihanna.
Okay.
Rihanna.
Miss Rihanna. Thank you.
Brianna, I think you need to do a like a workshop.
I send material for you guys all the time. Don't you get it?
No, never.
Add me on Skype. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
So this is about the comment section, and I hope you guys have already got what you need to know, what you need to be mindful of, and what you need to be careful about. So up until this moment, do you have any questions? Other questions?
I don't have this for now.
None.
Thank you.
Thank
Nothing,
you.
no.
And please remember that the 2 consecutive months cannot have the same feedback or the same comments. It needs to be different. But if the students still have the same problem, then maybe you can repeat that, but with some more like comment, or the student has become better with some words. He or she cannot fix the problem 100%, but he or she has been able to recognize the sound, or he or she has been able to pay more attention while he or she is speaking. That is also progress. Focus more on progress in the following months. Not only the problem, but also progress. Right. So that's pretty much about our training for the new evaluation. I know that this is a lot of information, but from this month, you guys will be using this form to give the student, to score the student, to evaluate your students. And I hope you guys can become familiar with this in no time, and you can do it. You can, visit this form at your own home while you have time, so you can, if you still have any questions, like you can comment, send us a message, and then we try to support you. The IC members also know this as well, so they can give you suggestions, or they can give you advice on what you need to do. So is everything clear, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. And to make sure that you guys have already obtained all the information so far, I've prepared a comprehension survey for you to do right now. And they only has 7 questions, a multiple choice, 7 multiple choice questions, which is very easy. And you guys can do it right now. And to make sure that you have obtained all the information needed. So here, let me send it here. So you can go on the chart section, and then you do the survey right now. After you have done the survey, please comment down below to let me know.
Mine is completed. I have to go. I have a class starting in 15 minutes.
Okay.
Mine
Thank
is
you.
also completed.
Me too.
Okay, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ciao.
See you soon.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Enjoy the rest of the day, guys. Bye.
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 Bye. So like, if you're all done, please comment down below, and then we'll have a look at all of these questions very quickly. So it's all done, right? Great.
Yes.
So like, let's look at all these questions together. So where can you find the new monthly evaluation form? Can I ask teacher Bobby, please? Where can you find the new evaluation form? In your contract with ESO or in your teaching schedule?
In the teaching schedule.
It is in the teaching schedule. Everything new will be included in your teaching schedule. Everything will, you can get everything at one place, so you don't have to go anywhere else. So from now on, when you go on your teaching schedule, a new column will appear, the evaluation for each student. Each student will have his or her own evaluation link every month. And it's the same for the student. Lý Anh Kiệt will have his or her own, Phan Trần Chỉ Thanh will have his or her own evaluation link. So everything will be attached in the teaching schedule as well. And also the mini test, it is also attached with the book. So you don't have to go anywhere else to look for the link. You just need to use the teaching schedule. Right. For the second part, can the form be completed online? Can I ask teacher Mark? Can the form be completed online?
Yes, it can be.
It can be completed online. And this is the new progress in our working procedure. In the previous version, you have a lot of work to do. You need to download the form, you have to fill it out, and then you have to upload it back again. So it's quite time consuming. From now on, all of those are eliminated. You need to fill in the form online, 100% online, without having to download anything. It's more convenient this way. And when is the last day to fill in the evaluation? Can I ask teacher, how can I say, can I ask Ursula, please, teacher Ursula?
Before the 5th of each month.
Yes, before the 5th of every month. So you already know this through your orientation training, but just a quick reminder, because this already the 23rd of March already, it's about the end of March, and you will soon be given this link to fill in the evaluation for each student in March. And the deadline for this is the 5th of April. So please keep in mind this information. How many criteria are students graded by? Can I ask Sheila, please? Teacher Sheila.
2.
And they are?
Wait. Toward class, in the skills.
Oh, so that means 3. So actually, they are attitude. Attitude.
Attitude and fluency.
Exactly.
Skills, attitude and skills.
Yes. Attitude and skills.
I write it down here. Yeah.
Attitude and English skills. Exactly. And then they have sub criteria. There are 2 main parts of this evaluation: the attitude and the skills. And below each attitude, each criteria, there are sub criteria: attitude towards class, attitude in class. And for skills, we meant fluency, response, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, etc. Right. What is the maximum score a student gets for each criterion? Can I ask Regina, please? Teacher Regina.
It's 100.
Yes, 100, the maximum, the highest point. And please keep in mind that you need to be careful with the point that you give, and the parents need to see progress, and the student need to be, be mindful of the student also need to see his or her English abilities precisely, but don't give something like perfect score from the get-go. Otherwise, there will be a lot of problems down the line. How can you update the chart or the graph to visualize, to make a visualization of the student score? And can I ask teacher Mark, please?
Wait, sir. Okay, so you should click on the chart, choose the open source, fill in the scores, and go back and update the chart or graph.
Exactly. So let me do it one more time for you to know what it look like. So this is the table you need to fill in before, and then you go down here, there will be two charts or graphs. You click on the chart, you choose open source, and then the new table will appear. And you just need to copy and paste the information from the previous table onto this one. And then the chart will automatically update the new information. The last part is you need to go back to the evaluation and then choose update here. And that's it. You're off to go. You are done with the filling in information. Right, the last one. Is it acceptable if the 2 consecutive months had the same comments or feedback? Teacher Ursula, please.
No, it's not.
Exactly. So I get like you guys 100% of all the information today. And I hope that you guys can use these tools effectively in your current classes as well as your upcoming classes. And before you leave, I just checked with my teammates about the least number of classes for the student to receive an evaluation. He or she confirmed that it must be at least 5 classes. Five classes must take place for that student in order for that student to receive an evaluation. Otherwise, we won't have enough information or have enough like contact or lesson to evaluate the students on. So if the student have less than 5 classes per month, you don't have to fill in any form. But for those who have 5 or more, then he or she will be receiving an evaluation at the end of the month. So is everything clear?
Yes.
Great. So thank you guys so much for taking your time out and join our training and with all the questions. And I hope that you all understand how to use it effectively right now. And
Yes.
if you still have any questions, please send a message to our AC members, and then they will support you with any problems that you have.
Yes.
So thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you again, and hope you have a great day. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Goodbye,
Same to you
Viet.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Bye,
much.
Viet.
Bye.
Bye, Sheila.
Bye, Ursula. Bye,
Hi,
everyone.
Ursula.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.